Alright, so the first exercise we're going to do is what we call a warrior lunge. Okay, and what the warrior lunge is, it's basically just a really long, stretched out lunge, and you're going really deep down, and ideally you're going to be stretching out the front of your hips here, all the way down your quadricep muscles, and again you might even get a bit of a stretch in your glutes with the forward leg. So for warrior lunge, you're going to stand with your feet probably just slightly wider than 2 shoulder widths or 1.5 shoulder widths. Okay, turn your feet to a 45, and you're just going to drop down, okay, and just sink forward. And if you actively push your hips forward, you're going to feel that stretch even more. It's going to be pulling again in the front of your hip here, all the way down your quadriceps, and just really sink forward. You don't want to put too much weight on that front leg with your hands, alright? You want to keep supporting yourself, keep a nice tall back. And if this isn't even working too much for you, what you can do is bring your arms above your head and arch backwards slightly. And this will intensify the stretch in the hip and possibly even make you feel it up the front of your body. Okay? Then you're just going to push off that front leg, come back to standing, go down to the other side. Again, nice deep lunge forward. Alright, feeling the hip and the front of the leg. Again, reaching up. Okay, so these are exercises that you can do a few repetitions each side, and just make sure you hold that bottom position and feel the stretch. Alright, the next one we're going to do is what we call the Cossack lunge. So what you're going to do with this one, step out to the side with one leg, and as you're doing that, you're going to point your foot up at the ceiling and drop your weight down, and you're going to feel this one in your groin, in your hamstring muscles, and maybe even a little bit in your calf muscles if you're feeling pretty tight. So let's get into that one. And this one, balance can be an issue for some people, so you want to, if that's you, you want to make sure you have something nearby that you can hold on to, maybe to let yourself down to the ground gently. Okay, so sinking down with that one leg, pull that foot back, alright? And again, feeling this groin, hamstring, and calf possibly, alright? And you want to keep your body inside that one leg there, and maybe keep your hands up just to encourage tall posture. Okay, then you can come up to the top, to the center, and you drop down to the other side. Same idea, keep that foot pointed out, alright? Keep your body inside that knee, and you should be feeling the stretch all the way down your leg. Okay, and then from there it's just switching back and forth, making sure you come to standing in the center there. Alright? Next one, this is one of my favorites, and the first two you may find if you're not very mobile or you're not very fit, might be a bit of a challenge. This one, pretty much anyone can do pretty quickly into the game, and it's probably one of the more foundational exercises you can do. It's called the goblet squat, and I'm going to do it with no weight first, and really having the weight doesn't make it more or less effective as a stretch, but if you want to build it into an exercise, then you can start adding some weight. The goblet squat, you're just going to, again, feet shoulder width apart and pointing straight forward. If you feel a bit tense this way, you can point your feet slightly out to the side, but ideally pointing straight forward. Okay, just kind of pretend that you're holding a ball or a big cup or a bowl in front of you. What you're going to do, just keeping your back straight, you're going to sit back and down, and again, my body is dropping right in between my knees, and my elbows are in there, okay? Just maintaining this position. When you're in down position, you just want to hold this for a little bit, okay? And again, if you have tight hips, you're going to really feel this opening up the hips quite a bit. Big thing too is to keep the heels on the ground, okay? And this will be another sign of inflexibility in your calf muscles and your hamstrings and your hips if your heel starts to lift up. So then that might indicate some other stretching you need to do, but feet flat on the floor, elbows in between, and you're just when you're down in the down position, you can even focus on pushing the knees out with your elbows, and this is only going to intensify the stretch more and help you get more out of it. So, and again, you don't have to stay long in this position, even 5 or 10 seconds is all you need. Okay, then you're sitting back up, or standing back up, sorry, and you can get ready to go down again. And sometimes before a workout, or if you've been sitting for a while, just a few quick pulses like this is all you need to open yourself back up. I'll just demonstrate that one from the side quickly, just because there's one more element to it that a lot of people miss, and that's having a tall flat back, okay? Anytime I'm coaching tall flat back, You want to pretend that your chest is sticking out and your butt is sticking out too. So you almost want to over-accentuate an arch in your spine, because then as you start to go down, what's going to happen is you'll start to lose a bit of that arch, but at least you'll keep that flat back. So getting goblet squat from this position, feet shoulder width apart, holding our object, okay, tall flat back, just sitting right down in between your legs, okay, and once you get in the bottom position, you can push your knees apart, and then standing back up. Right, just like that. Just show you quickly with weight, just so you get an idea of what that would look like with an exercise. Sometimes the weight helps to get a deeper stretch, and again, this is a great overall builder for our legs and our hips, and it also helps really strengthen the glutes, because most people don't have that ability to actually use their glute muscles like they should be. So when we start adding weight, you're going to really start feeling your butt with this one. So let's do it with the kettlebell first. Whenever you're using the kettlebell for the goblet squat, you're going to hold it by the horns right here and keep it close to you. Once again, feet shoulder width apart, tall flat back, and just sitting down, drop down nice and low, pushing out on the knees, and stand back up. Just like that. Okay. And with the dumbbell. Okay, so you're just going to cup your hands underneath the plates of the weight like that. Again, holding it close, drop down, come back up. Just like that. Okay, and you can do with a medicine ball, again, any weighted object. One last final tip for that one. Again, when you're in the down position and you're working to stand back up, you want to keep all the weight on your heels, alright? Huge tendency to rock the weight forward onto your toes, and not that it's the worst thing, but that's taking away the activity from our glute muscles, which is what we want to focus on. So just making sure you keep all the weight on your heels and you're pushing through the floor with your heels, and that's what's going to push us up, okay? Another thing you can try is curling your toes back when you're doing this exercise, and that will be a nice reminder to keep the weight on the heels. Alright, we're going to go to the floor for some exercises now. And we're going to start with one called fire hydrants. And appropriately named because it looks like your dog going to the bathroom in a fire hydrant. Okay, you may see this a lot in some aerobic classes or anytime people are trying to tone their butt. Works great as that, but essentially most people don't even have the necessary strength to do this one properly, and they tend to do a lot of twisting and turning with their body trying to get their leg nice and high, when really it's supposed to be just your butt muscles that are bringing the leg out. So we're going to get on all fours. Okay, so hands right underneath our shoulders, and all you're going to do is just start gradually lifting your leg to the side. And what you're going to do is only go up to the point where you start to feel your hips tip, alright? If my hips are tipping to the side, then that means it's no longer just my butt, alright? There's other muscles that are being engaged, and I'm not maintaining proper alignment. Alright, I'm kind of cheating this way. So again, stay neutral, stay flat, back flat, hips flat, just raising the leg out to the side, just the point before you start to feel your hips tip, and then come back down. And just do a few light repetitions. And again, this is not to necessarily get our butts in shape, but it's more to make sure we're engaging the proper muscles in our butt for other activities. Okay? So that's the fire hydrants. Next one we're going to do is one called bird dog. And because it looks like you're half dog, half bird. Okay? So I'll show this one from the side. Again, on all fours, hands right underneath the shoulders. Alright, so one leg is your support leg, the other leg is going to come straight back, and you're going to push the heel back, okay? So the whole movement, you want to make sure that foot is pulled down. Alright, and you're just lifting your leg up until you start to, again, feel your hips tip. If we're feeling our hips tip, that means we're as high as we can go. Once we get beyond that point, you'll see a lot of people, twisting and turning like that. Okay, this is no longer just my butt, and I'm using other muscles and I'm cheating. So, again, leg straight. Just the point where you start to feel your hips tip. Alright, and when we feel comfortable with that, we can start raising our opposing hand up at the same time. Okay, and this presents kind of a challenge to our core muscles to stay strong. So that's something you can do. If that's too challenging, or if you're not feeling it the way you should be, the way to modify that one is to sit down on our support leg. So, same basic position. This time I'm nice and low, and then you want to keep the rest of your body low as well. And pushing that heel back, and you're just raising your foot back just as far as you can. And again, this one, you'll notice the motion isn't very big at all, right? I'm just moving a few inches, and that's because it's an even truer representation of just using your butt muscles, alright? Even in that kneeling position, I was able to use some other muscles to help me out, but this way, it's literally just my butt muscles that are engaged, alright? And my hips are staying flat, which means I'm getting a lot of activation back there. Alright, moving on to another pose, and this time we're going to go back down to the floor on our stomach for the cobra.